no matter what path you choose to walk, and whether you believe or not, you can be certain that a fairy is watching.
Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and a special episode of Real Fairies in Real Photos. Why is this a special episode? Because I have discovered something that I have waited years for, 7 years to be exact. Now let me backtrack for just a moment. I have been photographing fairies since 2016 and have thousands of photos from many different locations. I use the word fairies, F-A-E-R-I-E-S, and fae synonymously, as both, to me, reflect many different species of beings. In essence, I have thousands of photos of many different species of fae. This means trolls, witches, dragons, gnomes, elves, leprechauns, to name a few of the species I recognize, and so many species I don't recognize and can't put a species name to. So, you may be wondering, with so many photos of the fae, what could I possibly have been waiting for? I have been waiting for a photo of a fairy that looks like a fairy I have previously photographed, so I know they are from the same species and the same clan because of a distinguishing feature that leaves no doubt. Let me explain that a bit better. I have, for example, many photos of what I consider to be trolls, but none of them look anything alike. To me, this means that they are not from the same clan. There is no distinguishing characteristic that screams, "Yes, I'm a troll and I am from this particular clan which has extra long feet." Hopefully that makes sense, but if it doesn't, I'm hoping that the photos I'm about to show you brings it all together. Let's switch over to my computer now so I can share my excitement with you. So back in 2016, October 13th, 2016, my husband and I went to the Ball Cemetery, which is located kind of outside of Rhodes, Iowa. We hadn't been there for quite a long time, but when we showed up there, they were doing, or someone had done some cleanup work, which left this big pile towards one end of the cemetery where there were no stones. Eventually they would get rid of this pile, but for the time being, this is what we saw. Obviously, I took pictures around the whole perimeter of Ball Cemetery and also of this pile, and we went home. In looking over my photos, what you see on the screen here was one of the fairies that I was absolutely incredibly amazed that I did not see with the naked eye. I will show you in an enlarged version here of this fairy. You'll see a little bit more here shortly, but you can see something a little odd up here in the corner, and it has kind of a tall white something attached to his head and possibly a curl here. Okay, well then that was picture number 1863. Picture 1864, as you see, I moved over this log here would be somewhere in here. Anyway, I had moved over to the left and taken the photo again of this pile, still not having seen this little guy here. And again, here he is, but I did not see it with the naked eye. So I'll enlarge this one for you as well. Okay, there he is again with that tall white whatever that is attached to his head. So here I have the first photo, number 1863, and I've enlarged the creature that you see in this square. And we can see again the tall white whatever that is attached to the head. We see the brow, we see an eye, another eye, a little nose, and this little being is on his side, okay? Obviously sleeping. The other picture, number 1864, here we have it again, and it is the same creature. It's not two different creatures, it's the same creature. And if you look at this part right here, okay, you can go back and you can see that's here. It's still the same creature. It's just turned from its side to its back in that short period of time it took me to move. So here we have it in the original photograph in the rectangle, and here we can see it much more clearly. Now here we've got the white addition to the head, bushy eyebrows, eye is closed. We can actually even see an eyelid over here, and we see a nose. We have a little arm with an elbow, and here's a little foot, and it is definitely spread-eagled and ever so comfortable laying right here. Now there is a video that I did. I've done several of this being who I began calling the General. That's what he gave me. And so there is a video that I'll put up in the right hand corner of the screen and also down in the description box. It's called The General and the Snail. And it's also where I have a conversation with the General through type channeling. And he tells me about the relationship with him and the snail. Now, if you see this on the screen, I told you that he is laying on this black thing, so you would know that it's the same being and not a different being. But he is laying on a snail. And that other video will show this snail ever so much more clear for you. So anyway, moving on, we've got the two side by side where he's sleeping on his side and he's sleeping on his back. Obviously this one much clearer than this one, must have been distance. Because of that, this one blurs a bit when I enlarge it, so this one is obviously quite clear. Now let's move forward to September 24th, 2023, so not very long ago, just last month. And my husband and I took a short trip to a place called the Wildcat Access, or Wildcat Cave Access. And it's just a walk that you take, and you've got cornfields alongside, and it takes you down into this area that looks like a ravine where a huge amount of water may have run through and cut out this ravine. Okay, I took a bunch of pictures. We had taken Sammy with us, so we could not take him down into this area. He's too small to navigate. But I went by myself while my husband waited, and I took some photos. You'll be seeing a video of the other fairies that I found in these photos. That will be the next video coming up. But while I was going through those photographs, I found what I'd been looking for the last 7 years. And not having the General in mind specifically, but I'm really excited that it was a relation to him. So I have this up on the screen. It's the original picture from that location, one of the original pictures from that location. I'm going to show you a little bit closer. There is no mistaking this tall white extension of this little creature that is just like the tall white extension on the General. Obviously, we have some blockage here of foliage, but you can still make out an eye, kind of a deep eyebrow line, just like we saw with the General, and poofy cheeks, which if you noticed on him, he's got this poofy cheek here. You can maybe even see it better on the smaller picture. But anyway, the poofy cheek, this one has the poofy cheek, and we can see a leg and the other one is over here, and whatever this being happens to be wearing, or perhaps that is just its body. And then of course the mouth. Now this was exciting because, again, in 7 years I have not discovered a species that seems to be part of a specific clan where they have a characteristic like this, that I am absolutely certain somehow they are related. And that is kind of a validation for me. I mean, obviously, seeing the general, he's pretty phenomenal and can't be taken as something done in Photoshop or anything like that. But this really solidifies things. Again, not in Photoshop. This is an actual photograph, as was the general. And now I've got them all three for you. Ball Cemetery, Rhodes, Iowa, October 13th, 2016. Here's photo 1863. And then we've got the other one, 1864 photo. And then we've got the Wildcat Cave Access in Eldora, Iowa. And here is this little being. Now, the fascinating thing is that Ball Cemetery, where I took the first photo here and the third photo here, is in Marshall County, Iowa. And the Wildcat Cave Access is in Hardin County, Iowa. These two locations are approximately 50 miles apart, but yet we have a species of a very similar clan or the same clan right here. And that is so exciting to me. Thankfully, you guys are a fantastic group of people, and I don't get a lot of accusations of Photoshop or, pareidolia or anything like that. But when I can bring you something like this, it is so exciting to me because this is my work. I want to offer you proof as much as I possibly can that these little beings do exist and anybody can photograph them. So this is exciting. And again, maybe not as clear because, of this foliage going across the face, but I have only done about, I'm going to say, 15 of the photos that I took. So I maybe have 15 or more, 15, 20, 25 more photos to go through. And perhaps we'll see this little guy again, or another of his clan. Wouldn't that be something? If so, you can guarantee I will do another special edition here. All right, so that is it. That's what I have for you. That's what was so exciting of a discovery for me, and I hope that you very much enjoyed this video. So take care.